let's go then. Hey everyone, my name is Yashraj, and I'm going to be talking about solving async Payjoin UX challenges. Um, we have a lot to talk about, so let's get on with it. Um, I'll quickly give a quick intro. That is not me, but I am a Bitcoin design contributor. I work on privacy UX, uh, silent payments, Payjoin, things like that. Also, I'm very happy to be supported by the Bitcoin Design Foundation. It is because of their support that I'm able to be here. So yeah, I really appreciate it. Earlier, I in 2023, I worked on a case study for Payjoin UX. I know Steven is here, and he helped me uh, do it. So yeah, thanks, Steven. In 2024, I worked on silent payments UX, and now I'm working on async Payjoin UX, and I think this one's also super interesting. I hope you guys agree. We'll see towards the end. So how this started is, I think on May 20, apparently, I wrote this discussion post saying, okay, these are the UX challenges that I see for Payjoin, for async Payjoin, that's BIP 77. Um, and people thought it was something of value there, hopefully. So then I went to Riga at the Bitcoin plus plus privacy edition to uh, talk about it to some people, and it was an amazing experience there also. But coming to the meat of the discussion, let's talk about these five things. We don't have a lot of time, so I am going to kind of run through the first three items there, and then the fourth and the fifth. I think that is where the new content is, and I'm also really looking forward to getting questions, being challenged, being wrong, so that I can be right in the future. And it will be really nice to be able to discuss these things with you. Yeah, so let's jump in. What is Payjoin? I assume that this room kind of knows what it is. The sender and the receiver of a transaction, they work together to create this transaction. Um, there are so many other things like relays, directories, all of that stuff. I imagine you guys already know quite a lot about it. And for from a UX point of view, when certain items become important, we can discuss them. But I think for now, we can boil it down to this four-step process. And I know that like the process diagram or the kind of diagrams that engineers usually do, it's a bit different. This one is a timeline because I want you guys to be thinking in terms of the time, like in real time, how the user is going to experience this. Uh, that's why it's a timeline, but long story short, I'll quickly run through the process. Receiver generates the invoice, shares it with the sender. Uh, s- uh, at like after some time or whenever the sender comes online, they create the PSBT, share it with the receiver. Receiver takes that PSBT, adds their inputs, changes output, things like that, sends it back to the sender finally to review everything, and then broadcast it out, right? um, two quick things to note. After step 2, either party, the sender or the receiver, can broadcast the non-pay joint transaction, also called the fallback transaction. So that is really important. Also, when the receiver generates the uh, invoice, they also set like an expiry parameter, which is like a soft deadline. It's a deadline like which after which we will not really participate in the payjoin. Um, so with this background, let's talk about the challenges first, right? I think it all boils down to the fact that coordination is hard, and hopefully, like we just like discussed, like the previous talk was about mobile wallets, like like that's like the real user base, and these people don't have servers, they don't have like dedicated desktops, like that can be online at all times. And so we are like dealing with, hopefully, with like regular people who want to do payjoin, um, and the coordination is going to be hard. How is it going to be hard? I think it falls in three categories. The first one is about delays, because that there are 4 steps involved. There are going to be delays, extra effort. Of course, usually the receiver shares their address and they're done, right? And then the sender does his thing. He creates a transaction, sends it out to the network, and they are done. But now we have 4 steps. Also, because the transaction is going to be bigger transaction, it's going to be higher fees, and somebody has to pay the fees. So those are the 3 big categories. Just to quickly illustrate these points, now the timeline will become more and more useful for us. Yeah, so delay 1, delay 2, delay 3, they can be almost close to 0. Like with payjoin v1, it was the same process, but because there was a server at one end, the delay 2 and delay 3 for the user felt like close to 0. So like it seemed almost instantaneous. And so my argument is that that is why the existing UI UX that we had, we didn't have to rethink it right back then, but now we have to. At least that's what I think. Also, because it is async and it's on-chain, and people can have large balances on-chain, the benefit of async is that you can introduce hardware wallets and signers and things like that. Again, this is going to increase the effort. Potentially, it's going to increase the delays as well, right? I don't have my cold card like right now, right? I might have to go back to my apartment to action it. So also, like, it's not just that. With multi-key wallets, there has to be extra coordination on each side. Again, extra effort, extra delays. I'm going to keep repeating this because I want the people who build these products to like think in these terms. Then there's the matter of the fees. As we said, there's extra fees. Who's going to pay the fees? If the fee rate is low, if everybody is like, if the sender and the receiver are just using one, like they all use just one input each, it's all fine. Maybe you don't have to worry about it. But the whole point of payjoin is to be able to consolidate your UTXOs. It's to be able to, like, refresh your time locks, like things like that. So that is what payjoin can be used for. That's what there are projects that are trying to do it. So who's going to pay the fees? The first point I think that we should note is that if the receiver doesn't pay fees, the fee rate drops, because when the sender created the PSPT, they chose a fee rate, the transaction size goes up, fee rate goes down, and that can affect the confirmation time. Also, because we are talking about delays, the process can take like a few hours, and maybe some shitcoins like guy like broadcast their transactions and the fee rate goes up. Okay, that can happen too. So these are the things I feel like some open questions from not just a UX perspective, but from a practical point of view that have to be discussed, and that have to, like, that solutions have to be found for. Um, yeah, the last two bullet points, I'm just going to, like, it's just on the screen. I'm not going to talk too much about it, but if you guys have thoughts, please ask questions, make suggestions, comments, things like that. I'll try to run through this like really quickly so that we have some time to talk about this stuff. Um, yeah. Now, there are a couple of implementations out in the wild, and we have some like feedback. We have some like experience of people who have tried it out, who have demoed it, and they say, "Oh, it's so easy. Like the UX doesn't have to change at all. Like they say, the UI doesn't have to change. The UX doesn't have to change. We will sign things in the background. Like everything will be, like automatic in the background." And what I noticed is that people are testing it like this. Now, if you test a async protocol face to face, you are not going to see the issues in it, right? Face to face testing hides the issues. Um, how you test dictates what you find, and I think we need more UX research. We need more real world testing. Consult a UX designer to do that. We have the Bitcoin design community. We have some amazing people. We would love to help you out, but this is something I feel is important again. So we discussed the challenges. We discussed why people don't seem to be talking about these challenges. Now the question is, okay, assuming you accept that these are the challenges, can these problems be solved using existing UI? In my opinion, shoehorning async Payjoin into existing UX is kind of not doable. Again, that's my opinion. I might be wrong. Uh, so we'll see. I would love to know what you guys think. So in current implementation, like usually the process starts something like this, right? The user clicks on the receive page and they see Payjoin activated. Yeah. And the user is thinking, what is that? What does it do? How does it affect my life? What do I do with this information? Like, okay, cool, bro, thanks. Uh, I think this is the way it is right now. If people, if the users are face to face, maybe it's okay, but otherwise, I don't really think so. I I'm going to go into details of why that is, and in my opinion, that is because right now we only have UI for the first two steps, because a regular transaction only has the first two steps, right? Sharing is like a one screen flow, sending is like a one session flow, you're done, right? But 3 and 4, signing, fees, coin selection, or the receiver, right? I mean, you should tell the receiver, like, you might have to do these things, right? So I think this is what we have to solve basically. um, yeah, existing receive flows. Yeah, this is just a detailed explanation about why this one page flow is not enough for Payjoin. Same thing with the send flow. Yeah, you might have to review, like, how much fees did the receiver pay, how much is the fee rate right now. Like, I mean, these things affect your life, right, as a user. So this is important. I'm going to quickly talk about some solutions and approaches. Actually, I feel like we have some time. Do we have any questions or any thoughts right now? Okay. Um, yeah. Either I'm doing very well or really bad. I don't know, but okay. Yeah, we'll see, I guess. So I think, like, there are like these three approaches, three design principles that we could use to like solve this UX challenge as that I just talked about. Delays, extra effort, like the expiry hitting and the page on failing, and like, yeah, all of these things, extra fees, things like that. Is try to follow when you build your product for Payjoin. Try to follow these principles. How? Predictability, right? So this is a new process. Users don't know how it works. Help the users form a good mental model to avoid surprises or like anxiety, like let's say as a receiver I created like a transaction invoice shared with the sender, then 6 hours go by and nothing happens, and then I get a message saying page join failed. I have no idea what just happened, right? Because I don't have a good mental model to be able to understand what's happening. Also, if people are going to be paying fees, especially receivers, to simply receive, we have to tell them that, or they might be like, yeah, it's a nasty surprise, but it is also like a user might think, oh, did the wallet just steal my like some of my sats? We don't want that to happen, right? Another one is like in BIP 77, notifications is not really a thing. Users have to come online, the client has to come online and check with the relays and the directory, right? But how do they know that they should come online? Maybe, yeah, people are thinking background process we will run. But like, bro, I was on a 6 hour flight, there is no background process. Yeah, so things like that can happen. We have to make sure that the user is ready for these kind of things, right? Predictability is super important, right? um, Second one, of course, optionality. you, if users feel they can't do anything, they get users get uncomfortable. It's not a fun experience, right? I mean, all of us have this experience in different situations where we feel like we are helpless. Like, I didn't know, right? Page join activated. Wait a second, what? So allow users to maybe abort the page join process at any time. BIP 77 has that. You can broadcast a fallback transaction at any point. That's awesome. Tell the user they can do that, and also help them do it. Yeah, also same thing for fees, right? Maybe I'm doing a on-chain transaction after 6 months, I'm like, ah, thank god, I'm gonna do a pay join, right? I am okay to pay some fees, but I would like to know how much it is. Maybe I would like to select which UTXOs I'm gonna use. Things like that. Optionality and control are super important. uh, Communication. um, yeah, communication is mostly about the first 2 points, like explain things to people. um, yeah, provide updates, like provide relevant information. If the page join failed, like, hey, why did it fail? Maybe I can talk to the other IT and say, let's try again, and this time I'll be online. Things like that. um, with these three principles, I feel like page on UX can fulfill the following three goals that we have, which is first one, help creating the right mental model, set the right expectations, accommodate all the incentives like paying fees or don't pay fees, do a pay join, don't do a pay join, I don't have time right now, I'm doing something else, things like that. I don't have my hardware wallet around me. One of the signers is in Hawaii or somewhere, like things like that. It's these things. And maximize page join success chances. Like, yeah, whenever the interface, the like product is being designed, like think about, okay, how can I maximize the chances of success? um, yeah, so I think this is the point. 10 minutes, I did quite well, I think, on time so far. Do you guys have any thoughts? Anyone working on PayJoin or has any thoughts about PayJoin? I've been talking for 20 minutes. Any thoughts? Yeah, hi.
To improve UX, to give the user the option to opt out of the pay join. But what are some of the implications for the rest of the participants if you were to do that?
Right. Well, so I would say that because of PayJoin has only two participants, not like a coin join, so that's good. Also, like we, so I think this is, I think, where this scenario is gonna come, where you're like, okay, the receiver shares a PayJoin invoice with the sender, right? So we would assume that the receiver wants to do a PayJoin, but the sender, he might not be available in the next few hours or things like that. In that case, the sender is going to like reject it, saying, sorry dude, I can't do it right now, it's not you, it's me, things like that. I'm not sure if I'm answering your question, but yeah, both parties have to be like agreeing, their like incentives have to be aligned. Otherwise, like, yeah, at any point any user can broadcast the non-pay join transaction anyway. So like I could lose patience. It could also be that the receiver shared the pay join invoice, but after a few hours he was like, no, what, I don't have time for it, I'm just going to broadcast the regular one. So yeah, like the incentives have to be aligned for sure. Yes, sir. 8 minutes, okay. Sorry.
So
Oops.
for aligning incentives, do you think an expiry time would be a possible solution for the delays to set better expectations for both users?
I think that is an excellent question for sure, because we have a slide afterward to talk about that. But yeah, I think so. Maybe I would, but like just to answer that question, I would like quickly say that it depends on the kind of users you have and the kind of product you have. Like if you are like building a product for like an exchange, like there is someone always like there to like action it, or like users are going to feel that page join is super important for me. Showing them a expiry timer is going to help. It's going to create a sense of urgency. For other use cases it might be an overkill, but we add to that. That was an awesome question, thank you. Yes, anyone else? Okay, 7 minutes.
Hi, good presentation. I think a big part of the value from PayJoin tends to be like the specific UTXOs that are being mixed, right? So it's not just like, oh, I want to do a PayJoin. It's like you get maybe 100 times the value if the correct UTXOs are mixed in any given PayJoin. So I feel like that's also a big part of like user experience, or not user experience, but the value of it.
Yes.
If on any given wallet I have like 2 UTXOs and I'm mixing it to a PayJoin every time, it's a low value. But if I have a lot and the wallet has some, the same way we do coin selection on, on typical stuff, you can optimize for coin selection, but then
absolutely
you can optimize.
Again, that is a part of the optionality control aspect. I think existing implementations are like just signing it in the background, like, oh, the user doesn't even have to see it, but the user might want to see it. That's just so yes, but yes,
that's part of how
coin selection is important for sure, and it should be, the interface should be allowing the user to do that.
I have another question. I just want to, I have been following, but not, following. And I'm wondering if you want to give a quick, like, where are we at with the 2 different page joins? The versions, is one being completely deprecated, the PayJoin org? Are these guys going all out on the new PayJoin stuff? The old stuff is not really a thing anymore. How does that catch me up?
Yeah, I think that's a great question. So so I'm not a dev, but my understanding is that BIP77 is supposed to be backwards compatible with BIP78. So I think that means that if one of the parties is using BIP78 and the other is using BIP77, they should be interoperable. But again, like, I'm not sure. Okay, I do have more slides, so I think I'm going to go through them now. I got like 5 minutes. So how can we address these goals? So the slides that follow are not solutions, they're just like examples, like mock-ups right now. Like I feel like as a UX designer, it's highly fascinating protocol for me. So but these are just examples. But just to go back to like the opt-in, opt-out, a simple toggle with an explainer saying, okay, this is what you're looking at. Again, the messaging there, I'm not saying use that messaging. It depends on the kind of product you have. I have not put too much thought into what the description below the page on toggle should say. I'm just like saying, like this sounds like I'm almost like saying don't do it almost, right? But we have to phrase it in the right way, but right away give the user an option whether to do it. I think existing implementations are like thinking about, we will put the PageJoin setting in the settings section like a universal setting. But my feeling is that depending on like the time of the day and like different like the situation that the user is in, they may be interested or not interested. Like it might not be like I always want to do it or don't always want to do it, even though there might be some applications that might have that. But I think in general this should be the right approach. But again, we'll see. This is solving page on UX challenges, not solutions to the page on UX challenges. Long name. Anyway, yeah. So that's one. Again, instead of hiding everything, maybe we were talking about like, hey, like once the receive button, I share the invoice, then it's done. How do I find my page on transaction, right? So this in-process page on transaction can go to the transaction, the activity tab in the wallet, like the list of transactions, and that is where the user can go and see, okay, I'm on step 3. This is ready for me to sign. I can select coins. This is how much the fees is going to be in terms of the optionality, saying, okay, about page on. Nope, I don't have the time, sorry. Or yeah, approve page on with fees, sign, things like that. Also, on the home page, maybe as soon as the user comes online, maybe they can see this, because if we are only doing the second option, how does the user even know that they should be going to the list of transaction and checking the status? So something on the home page is going to be helpful. So there's that. And what this could allow us to do is that those 4 steps I talked about, how we have UI for the first step and the second step, but not the other 2. Something like this, I think, could be useful. There's like a ton of like explanations on that one. Again, it depends on the kind of user you have and the product you have. Is that it? Yeah, the expiry timer thing, I don't know if I have the time for it. So yeah, I will get back to it, but I think this is something super important to me. I do have a master, I just forgot to add my npub, but happy to talk to anyone after this session is done, or email me or DM me on Signal if you are interested in building an application that uses PageJoin and you want help on the UX part, or if you want to just discuss things and things like that, I'd be happy to talk to you. Yeah, Q&A. Any more questions? Any other questions? Yes, hi. Okay. Yes.
Like PageJoin as a default on users to see if they're curious to not do it? Like,
that is a good question. I think there were some issues with some of the interoperability between the few wallets that are supporting PageJoin, so I was only able to like test a couple of transactions. But again, like in that case, I was trying to test it, so I was working with the other guy. Like I was working with like Dan. Like Dan, send me some sats. I want to see the UI. Okay, that was scary, but yeah. But yeah, so like I was trying to test it. I I definitely agree that maybe some wallet should say I'm just gonna do it as a default and then see how it goes. That can definitely be done. This is just my perspective on these things, but yeah. Okay. Looks good, sounds good. Oh yeah, quick thanks. I know I have to go, but yeah, thanks to all these guys. Thanks to the Bitcoin Design Foundation. Thanks for the questions. I'm done.